The audacity of Dennis Smith. Oh, Dennis, don't do it to him.
All right, there we go. What is up, guys? What is up? This is Darreck Kirby, a.k.a. DDP from the Dallas Prospect, here for a little bit of Mavs Fastbreak with my co-host, Enyi and DDP. Enyi, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, all things considered?
Yep, all things considered. In fact, I'm actually having a lot of fun watching. I'm not sure about the rest of you guys, but I'm a relatively positive guy, so we have some stuff to talk about, but all in all, I'm about to. I'm gonna have some fun this season.
All right, I like it. So obviously, it feels like it's been a little bit since we were both on here for a show. It's been a couple weeks at least.
Yep.
But regardless, the Mavericks have not fared all that great the last few games. They're on a 6-game losing skid, and you and I were both actually at the Knicks game this past Friday night. Mm-hmm. And that was not pretty. That was actually, of the skid, I would say that's the worst loss. Because the Knicks aren't a good team.
Nope.
And they were without Knox.
Yes.
And everything across the board, yes, and home, like you said, we've yet to win on the road. So it was like, hey, and we're catching them at home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nothing went right in that game. And this is what's amazing for a game that was largely uneventful. And I say that like with regard to the score, you didn't have a ton of highlight plays that jumped out and exploded, but there's so much storyline that came out of that. You have the drama with, we both saw this at the time, DeAndre Jordan looking like he blatantly stole a rebound from Luka, and immediately you start to hear, all these theories and everything spinning out there where it's like everything from, and the mild ones are like, oh, DeAndre's just stat padding to try and get a bunch of rebounds to make up for the fact that he's not actually protecting the rim well anymore. Like, his defense isn't that great at the moment. And it wasn't last year either. And then you have the other theories of like, oh, he just doesn't like Dennis or Luka. He's basically rookie hazing him and all of that. And it's just crazy, the stuff. Then you have the confrontation after the game outside the locker room between Wes Matthews and Donnie Nelson.
Yep.
Like, so much spun out of this one game that we thought wasn't that eventful.
When was the last time we did a podcast together? Was it even before the Laker game?
Yes, it was before the Laker game the last time I was on with you, yes.
Are we going to incorporate that stuff too in this podcast? Because I got some.
We can talk a little bit about that because we're talking, speaking of which, hey, hit that subscribe button for us.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and do that.
Do us a favor.
Ring that bell too. Bing!
Yeah,
let's
definitely. So let's see here. Here. I see that Max is making reference to this nice like button. Yeah, let's hit that.
Yeah, that works too. Yeah.
I built out all these graphics for this show. Be great. I'm kidding. Don't be grateful. But put a lot of time and work in to try and polish this thing up a little bit, get a little bit more of a professional setup.
Looks good.
Appreciate it.
Got the wood and the brick going on in the background.
Yep. I even got a bigger green screen for us, so we fit better.
You done broke the fourth wall.
I'm pretty sure they can tell, even as good as I'd like to say.
No, man, we put like $1 million worth of special effects on this podcast. You can see.
If I got $1 million to invest in this stream, how do you think I'm going to get any patrons?
Well, let me go in the fourth dimension right quick.
Yeah.
Here you go. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of which, Patreon, even though it's not glowing like I wanted, so that effect's not working. Quick, hide the inadequate effect. There's like us on Facebook, as you can see as well.
We are everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Around the world.
Let me take that away. The chat's showing over your face again. Yeah, we got, as you see above Enny's head here, we're going to have some merch coming soon. Luka Legend 77. Those are our design, and we're gonna try and lock that down So, yeah, if you want some Luka Doncic merch, not official Mavericks merch or anything, not using their logo or even his full name, just got Luka and the fact that there's a 77.
I have a cousin named Luka, so,
There you go. And, it works out perfect. So, Luka Legend merch coming soon. If you're interested, ping us. But let's stop with the...
Let's get down to business.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Yeah, so let's pass on to that and let's get into the 6-game... Let's get on to the actual 6-game skid that we're on here.
Okay.
So if you guys, I don't know if you're paying attention to the little crawler going along the bottom of the screen. I listed out the last 5 games, even though it's a 6-game skid, and the next 5 schedule-wise, just to kind of give you guys an idea. Those losses, although now it's showing me the future games, and I don't have the list right in front of me for the last 5 just yet. But those games include losses, of course, Toronto, Utah, Lakers, Knicks.
Yep.
You had Atlanta before that, but that was technically 6 ago.
Jazz, did you go with that?
I said Utah.
Oh, okay. My
There's
bad.
another one that's for some reason slipping my mind at the moment.
Out all the losses from Atlanta, so
haven't blocked it out. It's just I've slept since then. Oh, here it comes around. So Raptors, Jazz. Oh, Spurs overtime.
Oh, you said Raptors, and I was like, that's when DeRozan put up 30-something.
No. I see what happened there.
Plays for the Spurs.
What do you think the main issues are that's plaguing this team early on? Because we see the talent, we see the steps forward they're taking, but then there are steps backward that are ill-advised as well.
Here's number 1, defense.
Yes.
Defense. Number 2, and the reason why defense is number 1 and this is number 2 is because we recovered from number 2 multiple times. Number 2 is our terrible starts. Just like the last couple of years, we tend to start either the first game or the second half just straight terrible. But they do find ways to come back. But our defense is, I've seen multiple times when we leave shooters wide open.
Yep.
Multiple times where guys are going to the rim unchallenged.
Yep.
It's quite frustrating, especially when you invest over $20 million on a dude to stop
and
that
a rim protector, right?
And it continues to happen. So, not cool, man. Just get it to stop.
Yeah, and it's absolutely plaguing this team and slowing them down. And then the other side of it as well is turnovers. During this skid, they're averaging about 20 turnovers a game. During the last 3, I think it's actually like 23. So it's really, really bad in that regard. Don't even acknowledge. It's really bad in that regard. So they're going to have to figure out something to turn that around. And yes, there is coaching for that. There we go, mods. What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to figure out a way to get this young, and it's not a young team. It's one of the oldest teams in the league, but its best players are all 26 or younger.
We got a young core.
Yeah. So you have Luka 19 and Dennis at 20.
Yep.
Harrison Barnes has been back the last 5 games.
He's like 26.
So he still hasn't gotten a win yet this year.
Huh?
Yeah, he is 26.
Yep.
But yes, so they're struggling in that regard, and they've got to figure it out. But as we get into the storyline here in just a moment, that's the next thing that's kind of the bizarre plaguing issue for this team is it's very much related to just whatever's happening in the locker room. Like there's something odd about how some of the veterans are reacting and kind of treating Luka Doncic in that
which
regard.
is kind of weird because the Mavericks are not really we don't really have a bunch of drama going on in the past years like we're kind of seeing right now. Well, supposedly in the background, nothing's really confirmed, but I mean, we're having stuff like potentially, allegedly.
Well, before we get into the freeze out, you said you were talking about you wanted to say something on like the Laker game or the Spurs game.
Well, no. I mean,
I was just seeing like if there was anything left on those subjects you wanted to touch on. Okay. Luka goes for 31 in the loss at San Antonio.
Yeah.
And
here's the thing. We're one of the things that we had troubles with at the end of the games is closing out close games, and I'm a realist. We have a young core, so we're gonna see a lot of that. I'm not really too concerned about it. We're gonna lose a lot of those games. I want to see growth. That's the number one thing I want to see this year is growth.
Yes,
and it pisses me off when we have guys who are 9 years in the league and they're making dumb mistakes.
You're talking about West at the end of the
I'm
Laker game.
talking about West at the end of the Laker game, of course.
And it wasn't an intentional foul. He says he just got over-aggressive.
Which, it's LeBron.
Yeah,
it's LeBron James.
You try and make LeBron beat you with the 3 there. And LeBron's great enough, he might very well do it, but why are you going to send him to the line for nothing?
Exactly. I mean, here's the deal.
To your point, you invested $23 million in a rim-protecting center. If he gets past the first guy, you're supposed to then be able to lean on that center. Like, that's why you paid him.
Exactly. So, I mean, walk through the last minute, and I was actually talking with the dude this game, and take away the context. I think that's a bigger blunder than J.R. Smith's last year. Take away the context.
The context is everything, but yes.
Because
Wesley Matthews.
You blew it!
You did! Oh, that's exactly what I was saying. I'm like, dude, what? You freaking blew it. Like, what are you doing? Like, we're down. We're down by 2.
Yeah. Then Luka ties it.
Then
with
Luka ties
7.6 seconds left. Clutch, yes.
Luka, yeah.
And that game was largely uneventful for Luka, and he got going late. He's been great in the fourth quarter this year. And that's one of the things in this Knicks game that was so frustrating. He was 4 for 4 from the field for 10 points. 4 for 4 for 10 points, and yet he got only 4 shots, but you got 10 points in the fourth quarter. You're fighting and clawing. What's standing out to me and what I'm seeing, so this is the big topic of this stream. This is the title. This is all of that. Spoilers. There appears to be some kind of weird dynamic regarding how the veterans are reacting toward Luka right now. And for me, what it kind of, and this is just a theory I have, but it reminds me of the game at San Antonio.
Yeah.
Because in that game, Luka gets like 4 shots in the first half, and in the third quarter, early third quarter, you'll see him hit a 3. And this went a little bit viral. It's more lip reading, so you're assuming you know what he's saying. But the caption that ran with it that everyone was saying that was what he was saying was, "Give me the effing ball." After he hit the 3. Now, he goes off in that third quarter and ends up with 31 for the game. So he had himself a day, no doubt. But I wonder if that rubbed the rest of
the team the wrong way.
Veterans specifically the wrong way, because you got a guy 19 years old, 9 games into his career, walked in and from day one was your best player, as we've come to find. And he's sitting there telling you, "Give me the effing ball." Do you think that's the kind of thing that could rub like a Wes Matthews or a DeAndre Jordan the wrong way? Those guys are hyper competitive and very prideful.
That's true. I'm not sure if it will probably, that in particular, I don't think it will rub DeAndre the wrong way, because DeAndre is not the type of person to be taking shots.
Right.
But I think it'll rub Wes the wrong way, because Wes, I don't know what's going on in his head, but I think he thinks he's in a leadership role. DeAndre is like, okay, this is his first year on the team. He's only played how many other games he's played since then. And
here's Luka's stat line above my head so far for the season, if you guys want just extra information.
He's been balling out.
19.4 points a game, 6 assists, it looks like.
Yeah.
6.6, I guess I can move it around to somewhere where the lighting's better, but I didn't want to block your face.
Yeah, don't block my face. 6.6 total rebounds a game?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Shooting 46%. From the field goal, 39.3.
That is phenomenal.
That is good.
39.3.
And a lot of his shots are coming off of, dribbling, step backs and stuff like that.
The one thing that's concerning to me in this stat line is sub 70% at the stripe. And he's missed some big ones too. Yes. He got bailed out in the Minnesota game because Dennis went off after he split 1-1.
That's a kind of a concern for pretty much everyone on the team, other than, surprisingly, DeAndre.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan.
He's shooting 82 right now.
I can
last time I checked, which
keep
was
this
yesterday.
I can keep this good gold going for you guys here.
Yeah.
Now here is Dennis's stat line, and I can position that better.
Which is actually not bad, except for his free throw. His 3 points, I thought it would be worse.
So we don't have to. Again, this is information for you guys. We're not going to read it off.
Yeah.
But you guys can see there. I also like that Luka is getting minutes. Dennis last year got less than 30 minutes a game, and Luka's getting 35 or so minutes a game. Dennis is still up to 30, so Dennis is roughly the same minutes he was last year, which is interesting to me.
Well, I mean, he has JJ, and JJ's really counted on by Rick. Rick really trusts JJ.
You're tripping out my dog. My dog named JJ.
Oh, my bad. I was like, what?
Best Halloween costume I ever got him was slapping a Berea jersey on him.
There you go.
Just to make the pun, and it still took people some figuring out, which was funny to me.
Yeah.
But
what were we talking about? You said JJ.
we were talking about Dennis's minutes.
Yeah.
Harrison Barnes in 5 games. Here's his info. Because we give you everything that we can.
Yeah, so
I got the rest of the other two.
We're getting better, dude. Throwing up stats.
Dude,
and stuff like that, bro.
The
audacity of Dennis Smith.
That's what we're bringing to the table here.
Yeah.
But let's see here. So let me do a quick run through roll call. And if you want us to read your question, comment, you gotta tag the Dallas Prospect. I can't go through every comment, otherwise we get bogged down and we're not gonna hold the segment timelines at all.
Yep.
Can't catch him first in the house. Salute, sir. Adam Proctor, your college football talk will come. I've got plenty to say on this week for sure, and I know your West Virginia team had a very big week. Ha. But Cowboys X Factor, what's up? William Phillips, what's up? Max in the house, Ranger King. Let's see. Craze Hands, what up? We got Albert Pays, RJ Marshall, Dennis, what's up? Dennis got a prospect shirt all the way in the Netherlands.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Made that happen. He won one of the giveaways during the 1-year stream.
Nice.
So, yep, he was repping that, sent us the photo and everything. So, yes, we have we're officially international with our brand now.
Hey, Ray Lou's on our Facebook.
Hey, what's up?
What up, Ray? Oh, Lau? Ray Lau. Sorry, said his name wrong.
Come on, son.
I know.
Cowboy Kingdom, what's up? You followed me on Insta, and I was so proud. Oh, no problem at all. Let's see here. I don't even know how to say your name, but you're going to be a Spurs person. Or, no, you were chiming in when we were trying to think of the game. Okay. Yeah. I was like, oh, we got to troll. Dang it. V kills it for the win.
Defense is trash bags. That is true.
Why isn't Rowdy playing Rowdy? He's talking about Ryan Broekhoff. Yeah, I don't know. Especially with our 3-point shooting struggling at certain stretches. Yeah. It would make a lot of sense because we're not playing defense anyway. You might as well get the shooter out there. Threes for layups, whatever Max's nickname, something to that effect.
3-point layup?
Yeah. Parsons and Rondo wasn't drama. That absolutely was drama. There's different drama to this because this is the future. This isn't a guy that was just like a hopeful investment. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Jarris TV and Vlogs. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. I appreciate all that. All right. So here's Zeran. First person tagging us. Luka is used to closing out games from his Madrid years, and it was obvious the Spurs and Laker games, but the Spurs overtime, he barely got the ball. Spurs overtime, the first 3 possessions, he set up teammates beautifully for wide open threes, and they just missed. Barnes missed, Matthews missed, and then I think on the next one, it actually ended up being it would have been like a hockey assist effectively.
Closing the game is not necessarily shooting the shots, is having the ball in your hands.
Right.
Ready to make the right play.
Right. If his teammates had hit those shots, it would have been different.
Yeah.
And then after that, you saw him try himself to be a little more aggressive, but the momentum had kind of slipped a little bit at that point.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. He is absolutely clutch. He's got ice water in his veins and all of that. So
he is the type of person that you want. I mean,
Wonder Boy.
Oh, Wonder Boy. Yeah. I mean, that's what's good about him. This is something I said about Rondo, if I can. I know I'm going to make a Mavs sin, but something I said about Rondo, something I said about LeBron James in the past is those are guys that you can... They're able to take over games without scoring the ball, and I definitely see that with Luka. There's going to be stretches where you just want the ball in his hands because you know he's going to make the right decision, and that's why he plays a lot of minutes with Rick, because Rick has a stigma that he doesn't play a lot of rookies, and here he is, he gets Luka, and he's playing 35 minutes a game.
Yes,
because he knows one of the things that Rick Carlisle values the most. I mean, if not defense, is IQ. He loves players that have a high IQ. That's why you see JJ playing the kind of minutes he's playing. That's why when Devin comes back, Devin's probably going to get a lot of minutes. You're probably not going to see Brunson as much as we are right now because those are probably Devin's minutes because we're in kind of a win now, chasing playoffs mode.
Yeah.
And you're going to start seeing Rick Carlisle play guys that he trusts, and That's our veterans on the team. So
yeah. By the way, guys, if you want, follow us on Twitter. I have my personal page up there, DDP_journalist, at Dallas Prospect as well, and I got Enyi you're throwing up there as well. You're not, yeah. Well, I ran out of space on the graphic because for this one, you're not here every day in every stream.
That's fine.
So I got you as your own separate text layer effectively on this.
And now I feel special.
Yeah, there you go. Right. There you go. And there's the DeAndre Jordan stats, as you said, 82.4% from the charity stripe, 14.3 total rebounds, 12.7 boards, 65% from the field. Yep. You would look at all that and say that's fantastic. But his rim protection hasn't been there. The blocks, other than one game where he had 5 blocks, haven't really been there.
I mean, to be honest, I don't need him.
He was bad in LA, too.
Yeah, I don't need him.
He let JaVale McGee have his best rebounding day in 5 years.
I don't necessarily need him to get blocks. I need him to challenge.
You need him to contest.
Yeah, but we're not even seeing that. Literally, we saw Kent Bazemore in clutch time going like no one was there. Like, literally, it was like a layup line.
Yeah.
And dunked it, and that was like, the type of play. Hey, dude, that's why we're paying you the amount of money we're paying you.
Absolutely.
Makes no sense. But he is playing well on offense, and he's getting a lot of rebounds. And he is stealing it from his teammates, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's the reason why we have you on the court is to get rebounds. So. Yep,
and another person that's been the bane of Mavericks fans.
Oh yeah. Where did this come from, by the way?
Wes Matthews. When did he become the villain? Because he's second on the team in field goal attempts, and for a lot until recently, he was getting the most shots per night on average.
Not even. I know that, but it was like, when did he become ignorant?
When did he? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he was. I mean, everyone knows you don't even need to be statistician or anything like that. You can literally see just by the straight eyeball test that he is way more efficient on offense when he's catching and shooting.
Yep.
When he tries to do all the other extra stuff that you don't.
Well, yeah.
I'm watching a game, and every time I see him dribbling, I'm just like, that's not your game, Wes.
Yep.
Give up the ball, Wes. That's not your game.
What kills me right now is seeing him and DeAndre run 2-man game.
Oh yeah.
Because they're doing 2-man game, and you're seeing Luka spotted up in the corner, and I'm just like, there's a good 3-point shooter and a guy who's better with the ball in his hands. He creates. When he has the ball in his hands, when Luka has the ball in his hands, the offense is so much better. Now, Luka, one area, I'm not here just to continue saying like, oh, Luka's amazing. He's been very good, but he has had some issues with turnovers. But that said, he creates very well. And when you see like,
I'm worried about that.
Like in the fourth quarter of the Knicks game, you have DeAndre in a 2-man game with West trying to force a backdoor pass when you got Luka standing wide open right there, and DeAndre just goes away from him, and that's after the next thing as well. So let's get into that. Let's move into our next segment on this. We have in this game, and I can probably pull up the highlight. Give them the rundown. I'm gonna actually pull up the highlight that I got on here as well for it. The clip
of the play.
Yes. So you give them the rundown while I pull this up.
So what had happened was I forgot who shot the ball, but it was Nick that shot the ball from beyond the 3-point line, misses it, and the only 2 players that were down there in rebound position was
Luka's pretty much by himself.
Yeah, Luka was pretty much by himself. You tracking the ball, and then you literally see DeAndre and what's worse about the play is that he didn't even just like grab the rebound. Like if you grab the rebound, you can be like, oh, you probably didn't see him. No, he literally tipped it out of Luka's hands and tipped it to himself.
With the off hand pushed him in the back. Which, by the way, Luka's been dealing with a sore back and getting treatment before every game.
Yeah.
So you're there, kind of forearm shivving him in the back as you're stealing the board. That is something.
And I've seen DeAndre do that prior to this game, to be honest with you, but I was thinking he's trying to be a leader on the team. He knows his role is to get rebounds, so he wants, I remember we were talking about him and Dennis. He's like, yo, don't worry about coming back, take off and get the rebound, get the ball. Like he wants like sole responsibility to get all the rebounds, and you see all the other players kind of respecting it, but they never went as far as I'm gonna tip the ball to myself.
That's the other reason it's frustrating though, is because Luka is one of your best ball handlers in transition. That's part of what makes him so special, being the point forward that he is that he can get the ball, get out in transition, and find guys wide open or the trailing guard or whatever. That's his strength. So it's weird to move away from his strength on that.
And then he threw it to somebody else too.
He didn't
Luke, I didn't even know that was you, bro. I thought you were the other guy.
Exactly. Yeah, he passed it off to a different player.
Yeah. Hopefully it wasn't West
as well.
If it was West, I would have been. We're on Twitch.
Yeah, we are on Twitch. We do have a Dallas Prospect Twitch account as well. Every now and then I throw that out there to plug that.
To remind himself that he's on Twitch.
I'm trying to make a little more of a concerted effort in that place. But, yeah, so let's see here. I'm going to get this pulled up. So the whole issue with this, there are people asserting that DeAndre is effectively stat padding here to try and sort of make up for... if you want, you can read the questions that come across there as well.
That's literally what he was asking, so you're probably about to answer it.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So stat padding is what people are suggesting for DeAndre because he hasn't been the rim protector that they thought or hoped that he would be. He did have that one game with 5 blocks, but like I said, the Lakers game was wretched. He gave up JaVale McGee's best night of his last 5 years, even though he himself had pretty good rebounding numbers too. He just, it wasn't a good showing. Yeah. And so his greatest value at this point comes from rebounding. He's averaging over 14 a game. Yeah. And
we heard something from the Mavericks need.
I'm not totally trying to tone down or say whatever about his play. But I will remind that it's a guy who we heard
Hardaway, huh?
Yeah, Hardaway took the shot. So The context is, we found out from Luka in the interview before the season even started, where he talked about DeAndre Jordan saying he gets mad if I try and get the rebound or whatever. He wants every board and he treats it like it's his thing. And
yeah,
I get the mentality.
I've seen that on
the same clip.
On the
yeah. And so, like I said, he shoves him in the back. It's not like it's the thing about it is you can see Luka is frustrated by it because he just stops, glares at his own bench, and kind of walks up the court because board's stolen from him, and then DeAndre passes it to someone else. He's clearly frustrated with it, and man, I don't know what to make of it.
Almost looked like Mark Cuban was.
Cuban was mad too.
Visually frustrated.
Yeah, Cuban was mad too. Let me get this dialed up here.
Okay, let me try to see if I can read anything. I go for +1. Dorian Finney-Smith slowly but surely turning into a two-way player I'm going to try to pronounce your name. Jared Zapanta. So Dorian Finney-Smith is turning to quite the player.
So here's the clip here. Yeah, it's on the prospect page if you want to look at it. I don't know why it looks a little laggy here. Yeah. I guess just because I'm trying to do a browser filter through it. But
you see it. Luka kind of walking away.
Yeah, Luka's stepping away. He's out of frame for what you see there. But Luka kind of steps away and he glares at the bench. When you mix with that what I said before, Luka only getting 4 shots in the fourth quarter despite being 4 of 4, and Dallas trying to mount a comeback. Yeah. They're not getting stops, and then they're getting empty possessions on offense.
Oh, yeah.
You pair all that together, and it seems like there's something there. And then you add in, after the game, you have, as frustration is running high. First of all, media members asked JJ Barea, and I want to say it was Dorian Finney-Smith, about the stealing rebound thing. Okay. And both of them, and I'm paraphrasing here, but both said, it is a little bit of a problem. Obviously, it's not what you want to have happen. You don't want friendly fire. We just have to work on that and communicate better. Okay. That's the answer, which to me acknowledges, we're aware of it, and that's not a cool thing to do, but we need to deal with it in-house. You know what I mean? That's how I perceived the message there. Yeah. It's going to run the Twitch thing again.
To be honest, I didn't read any press things after the game. I was kind of frustrated because I believe that was a game we could have won. So this is probably something we're going to take point on. Absolutely.
So after the game as well, in addition to that, you have this heated moment between Wes Matthews and Donnie Nelson, the GM and president of basketball operations, right outside the Mavericks locker room. Yep. And the context I've gotten since then is suggesting that it was essentially them trying to It was Wes effectively trying to understand from Donnie, what more can I do to help this team win? But that's okay. So that's the context of what's being. That's from Rick Carlisle today. Okay. But here's the thing: as soon as I heard that,
2 seconds left to go when we're tied.
Yeah, well, that too.
You could not do that.
Yeah, for sure. That's a punch in the gut. Yeah, for sure. But that's a weird thing to me because why are you going to the GM to ask what can I do to help this team win? Isn't that a question for Rick?
Yeah.
That's the context I'm wondering. Like maybe that was kind of the lesson, the takeaway from it, but maybe the context had more to do with. I don't know if Donnie Nelson's the kind of guy who would talk to the players and say, "Hey, Wes, you're one of the leaders on this team. I don't know what's going on here with Luka and some of the other vets, but we need to sort this out." And then maybe Wes takes some kind of offense to that. I don't know. I don't want to put words in the mouth, but it almost seems to me like you could have that conversation and then still have Rick be like, "Yeah, the takeaway is what can I do to help this team be better?" You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. It's so weird how this felt like a largely uneventful game, but we got so much to it because you're on a 6-game skid. People are going to be looking for reasons and figuring it out.
Yeah, and I mean, to add on to put fuel on the fire, I mean, this was probably the most anticipated year of the Mavericks in a long time. And when you have a team that's as anticipated as the Mavs is, and stuff doesn't go right out the bat. Yeah. Everything begins to be an issue. If we were winning, it probably wouldn't be an issue. If we won that game last night, we probably wouldn't be talking about DeAndre stealing rebounds from Luka. We'll all be laughing or whatever. So, I mean, I'm not really too worried about it. My main concern is winning games because I know if we win games, and we have in the past, even when we try to tank, we do figure out ways to at least still be competitive, and stuff like that. And our team is way more.
So let me ask you though.
Than they were last
do you
year.
think DeAndre Jordan is stat padding?
Man, I mean, shoot, no, yes. I mean, just rebounds. He's not like
that's his one area.
Yeah, he's not like taking ill-advised shots or anything like that.
Right,
so if he was a stat pad with rebounds. Hey, dude, do you keep up with your keep up with your free throws? And to be honest, he's not playing bad. I know we're losing right now, and people are not happy with him because they did it to our treasured rookie who is putting up mad numbers right now. So people are not happy with him just for that. But I mean, literally, if you take all the emotion out of it, DeAndre Jordan, and he's not playing defense, like one of the main things that we paid for him for. But unit drops. Anyway, yeah, that's the reason why we got him. But if he's not doing that,
I should stop that.
People are gonna get mad. Yeah, people are gonna get mad. But he's really not playing that bad. I mean, if you put his numbers up there, he's 64% from the field. Yeah. 14 rebounds a game. So 82% from the free throw line.
Best free throw shooter on the team.
Exactly. So
in that regard, yeah. So let me ask you this then. Speaking of the frustration, we already talked about Wes Matthews, who is one of the who's been shouldering most of the blame. Yes. Dennis Smith has shouldered his share of blame. Yes. Now, I would say before the Laker game, which that went bad for him, he got benched the last 6 minutes, didn't even play in crunch time as they made that comeback. Yep. But the 2 games before that, San Antonio and what was the other one that we talked about? He was out the Toronto game, and then it was San Antonio, and whatever game was right before that, that's slipping my mind. He had 2 very impressive... No. Bulls was a low-score game for him. Regardless,
that was like 7 points. Yeah.
Regardless, he had 2 very solid games.
What was the game before Toronto where he rolled his ankle?
Hawks before Toronto.
That was where he rolled his ankle.
Yeah. So anyway, he had 2 solid performances. Looked like he was bouncing back. Then the Laker game was really bad, and then even in the Knicks game, he starts hot and then he goes cold. He had some really bad plays in that though. Like, he's been uneven. He's still trying to figure it out. I don't want to put a lot of blame on him because I'm like, you're a raw 20-year-old talent. Yeah. And just because Luka's younger doesn't mean that, like, Dennis should be at that stage, too.
Here's another thing that we need to realize, too. Dennis Smith has been a point guard his whole...
And an on-ball point guard,
on-ball, heavy usage.
That's what I wrote about in my last article.
Yeah, I did see that, too. I appreciate, first of all, I saw that article and I appreciate the fact that even in the midst of all this, you still said they're still gelling together. They're still figuring stuff out, which is true.
Yes.
We have people who are calling, hey, let's trade Dennis Smith. I don't want to mess with people on the chat or anything like that, but no, that's dumb. We're 3 years too early for that. Yeah. For that nonsense that's coming out. Like, Dennis has been an on-ball guard his whole career, and he's still young,
right?
And he's still figuring out how to play with Luka Doncic, and they both need the ball. Yeah, Luka, you can't take the ball away from Luka because Luka's phenomenal with the ball.
A good way to look at it right now, they're not so much playing together as taking turns right now. They're not playing off each other a lot. It's more like I run the offense for a while, then you run the offense for a while. Exactly. That's something that you just have to gel in that way. That takes time. I mean, you saw that with even LeBron and Wade in Miami. Yeah. The first 25 games, they weren't that good. Nope. They took time to figure it out. Now, those guys were much more developed and along in their career, so it was a little easier for them. It might take the full year for them to learn how to play together.
And I have no problem
with that. Really, really play together. And that's, and that's what we've been trying to say this whole time throughout the offseason. I know that we get excited about the potential, and there's certainly a possibility of it, but the main thing we seem to always come back to was tap the brakes. I don't think this is a playoff team yet. I
think the problem is the players themselves were saying that they're a playoff teams, and we said, oh, because we got Luka, we got DeAndre.
Yes.
We're like, maybe we can be a playoff team, and now everyone has these expectations when they need to realize we are still a young team. There's going to be a gelling process. There's still a learning curve. We're not there yet. We still need, even though we don't have our first round pick unless we continue this trend.
Yeah, you got to be a bottom 5 in the draft for that. Yeah.
But I definitely see them turning around somewhat this year. We're most likely still aren't going to get our first round pick, and that's okay. All I want to see is growth.
Yeah.
And if we see growth, and quite frankly, I feel like if the league sees growth, we're going to be a destination. Mavs fans, stop panicking.
Speaking of panicking, the one villain remaining to a lot of people's perception, do you buy into Rick Carlisle being part of the problem right now?
Hell no. No. Stop. People. Stop.
People calling for Carlisle's job is really frustrating me because even if they got their way and we did fire him, we would look back in like a year and be like,
I've made a huge mistake.
Exactly. With Joe from Arrested Development. That was a good drop.
I was waiting on that one.
Man. But that's a dumb mistake. We're talking about a guy who I believe is top 3 coaches in the league right now.
It is something, and he's going to have to figure out how to utilize these guys because I'll be honest, he is making mistakes right now with regard to sometimes he's keeping the second unit in there too long. He'll take Luka out when Luka's hot.
He's not. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Sometimes it's weird. I mean, my only gripe with him, sometimes he needs to learn how to stick with a hot hand or stick to the rotation. And sometimes, like when he said he takes Luka out when he's hot, like, that's part of the rotation. He needs to come out, or when the second unit, which is actually a pretty good second unit. I'm actually quite proud of him.
Generally, yes.
When they get hot, he tends to keep them in the people scream this to fight together. You know what, dude? I'm all in, bro. Should I change my name, Rangers King, to Middleton to Dallas? Chris Middleton. I don't know. Yeah,
that's what I'm wanting for that.
6'7" long.
And then people wanting Jimmy Butler.
Oop.
No, thank you. Speaking of second unit, I see people here on Facebook asking specifically about Dorian Finney-Smith. Do you think he should be moved into the starting lineup?
I feel like we should give him a chance. I feel like if not the starting,
I think he's definitely proven himself worthwhile.
Yeah, if not,
that Knicks game was a great game for him.
If not,
hold on, I got his stat line here. Dorian Finney-Smith in that game,
like 17 points,
19 points, 19.7 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals.
Nice.
He was absolutely a Swiss Army knife in that game.
Yeah. So, my opinion on Dorian Finney-Smith, I definitely, if he's not starting, I definitely feel like he needs to be ending the game, just because we've seen too many of these guys that Wes Matthews he's guarding that is going off, and maybe he's not as good of a defender, a perimeter defender as Wes Matthews, but the thing is, he has 3 inches on him. He's way longer than him. Maybe
he's an Al-Farouq Aminu type.
Yeah, maybe that can be the difference. I mean, we've seen we saw Zach LaVine go off. We've seen I'm losing my head, my names right now, but we've seen all sorts of players go off while guarding him.
That was one I made but haven't posted yet. I've been waiting for a stronger performance to back it up.
It's coming.
It is coming,
Yeah,
but
I mean 23 points is not bad. But anyway, man, that's funny though. You made me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Don't show me anything funny when I'm trying to make.
Let's see here. What up, Annette? I completely destroyed your thought process, apparently.
Because now I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The audacity of Dennis Smith.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see here. So Luka can handle a full season. He needs a full season. Take off some of that baby weight. That's another thing with Luka too. He's never had an NBA strength and conditioning program. He didn't have a healthy diet at all. He was a 19-year-old. He ate garbage and didn't gain much weight.
I'm so excited
you put him,
for him to go through an offseason.
By the start of next season, I think he's going to be slimmer, stronger. He'll actually probably be able to be a little faster, jump a little higher, all that. He's never going to be an explosive athlete. That's not his game, but he doesn't need to be.
Nope.
The comparison I was making, if you remember, it was still during the offseason after they had picked him.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for the...
What do you do?
No, I'm just saying love the channel.
Oh.
Thanks for the support.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, so the thing that I really said about him at the time, and I've actually heard a couple announcers now echo it. Mm-hmm. Not like I'm saying they stole it from me, but it probably. I mean, we all know that. I mean, they might as well just hire me because I can do it as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, the comparison I made with him was that he was a little Larry Bird-like in the fact that he's not a great athlete by any means, but he's always under control. He's always patient, and he knows how to just do these little ways to create space or to fake the defender to create the space. Like, how many times have you seen him throw the fake pass and three guys jump out of the way and you're like, I try that and I can't get the freaking kid next door in the basketball game to move. He's 6 and he stays in front of me.
Try to pick up the dog. Dog's like,
yeah, and he's got Spurs defenses jumping away like shit. Yeah, and in that game too, the Knicks game, very start of the game, he threw a nutmeg pass, bounced it to DeAndre through the guy's legs.
Yeah. I mean, this is something I was saying too to piggyback off you. I mean, you said he doesn't have. He's not explosive.
Yeah.
We've seen it, but he's so. Once he has a shot going, once he gets in rhythm, he basically, it's almost like if anyone's played basketball and they've gotten to a state of just, you're just in rhythm. You're not necessarily reacting to what the defense is doing. You're just like, your body just knows what to do, exactly when to do it. We've seen him do that. And, I mean, he can get to the lane anytime he wants, just based off of that, when you're guarding him, you can't just be like, I know what he's going to do.
No, absolutely.
Because he's been playing this game way too long at a high level. He knows how to get through to everybody. Do I need to put on these headphones?
We're getting set up for that, so
alrighty.
We'll be ready for that in a moment. Cool. We're going to bring in, I think, Big Game James here to talk. He's a huge Mavericks fan as well.
In Ohio.
Yep, that's where he is now, but he's from Fort Worth, so he's a big Mavericks fan as well. I know he's got some thoughts that I definitely want to get to him. I got wrapped up in the show earlier, and that happens to me sometimes. That's where I need a producer and whatnot to be like in my ear, just like, hey, yo. All right, so let me get that set up here. Should both be able to hear him this way.
Should I put it on right now?
You can, yeah. All right, so give me just 1 second, guys. I don't know what you're doing there.
Let's read some. Who do we need to trade? Sorry, I'm about to burp.
That's nice.
I'm about to cry. Who we need to trade DJ for if need be. Let's hold off on that before. I mean, we have all the way to trade deadline, which is in February. We don't know what's going to pop up. We don't know who's going to be disgruntled or anything like that. So I really don't know who's available, who's not. And usually,
can you hear it ringing?
Yeah, I can.
Cool. Which means they can hear the ringing too. Mute for a second. Hey, James, what's up?
Yeah, I hear him.
All right.
What's going on?
Nothing much. So we got Big Game James here on the show with us. James, how are you doing?
Not too bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you good. Guys in the chat, it looks like the should be working, but give us a thumbs up if you can hear James as well. So, have you been, I guess, watching the show up to this point, kind of, or at least hearing a little bit of what we were talking about with the Mavericks?
I didn't get to catch up on a lot of it, so I mean, but I'm sure y'all was talking about a lot of good stuff about this Doncic thing. I know that's the big forefront of what's going on right now.
Yeah, yeah. What are your feelings? I know you have some really good insight, or rather, just your perspective on the dynamic between Dennis and Luka Doncic, and kind of that, not so much necessarily struggle for like the alpha dog, but just kind of give us your thoughts on that, like their dynamic.
Well, you know, when me and you talked, I was telling you that, you know, when Dennis Smith Jr., his rookie year, he was kind of like the man. You know what I mean? It was like he was the forefront of everything. It was kind of like he was kind of like a building block, like the main building stone that the Mavericks were going to really do the thing with, and he had a really good rookie year. Then you get a guy like Luka comes in, and, I mean, this is no hate on Dennis Smith Jr. He's a monster, but Luka comes in, and, I mean, he's the truth. I mean, You can tell he's going to be the real deal. I mean, he's 6'7", 220 pounds. I mean, he can play multiple positions. He's a playmaker. You can see when he gets the ball and you let him create, he makes things happen. And you can see the problem is where Dennis Smith Jr. doesn't know how to play off ball, so it's kind of like he's hesitant when to shoot, when not to shoot, when to pass. You've seen the last few games where he scored a lot of points, but haven't had a lot of assists in the games. So now it's kind of, I feel like he's kind of, what role am I? You know, I was like the man before. I don't know if I am the man. How do I play? Because he doesn't have the most consistent jump shot. He doesn't have a three-point range that's consistent out there. So you see if he's playing off ball, he's going to have some struggles. And I think, you know, he's kind of an emotional player, I think, and maybe he, you know, I've seen a couple games where, you know, where they said he was sulking a little bit. And I told you, I wonder if, you know, Luka's had the issues with the veterans. I wonder if, you know, a guy comes in and he understands he is good, that, you know, people get offended by it, and then, you know, kind of messes up the flow and the combinations that could be good, but because people may be in their feelings, it messes up everything going forward.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely agree that he probably needs to be the Robin, essentially, to Luka's Batman, and I think he's more raw. He'll take more time to develop. I do think Dennis has a high ceiling, but I think that's more so as an athlete rather than a refined player, potentially.
I mean, it's going to take time for him to get all of that together. I mean, he still doesn't have a consistent floater.
No, he's been working on it, but it's still, that's not there yet.
It's still ugly.
His mid-range game's decent. His three-point game is still not very good.
33%, which is a little.
It's an uptick
as of right now.
Yeah, it went from 31 to 33, but the thing with Dennis, and this is what I talked about in my last article a little bit. You know, until Luka got here, basically he had always been, if not the best player on the team, it's certainly the most explosive, most exciting. You know, through high school, obviously at North Carolina State, and then even as a rookie, you know, Harrison Barnes was the leading scorer, but Dennis was the ticket. He was like the golden boy held up.
He was the one that moved the needle the
most. Right. And then as soon as Luka gets drafted, that whole dynamic changes, and now you got a large portion of the base saying, trade him. He's a bust. He's, you know, it's like it's got to be a trip for a player. So there's a little bit of his own kind of soul searching probably he has to do and figure out his role in everything. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge for sure. So let's see. Did you get a chance to catch some of the recent games at all for them, James? I know you were talking with me a lot about like the game the other day.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we watched the game where, I mean, obviously where you had DeAndre Jordan getting the rebound. I watched that Lakers game.
Yep.
It just, to me, when you're watching the team, it just seems like it's better when Luka has the ball in his hands. And we're going to have his struggles. I mean, you look at the games that they lost. I mean, they're on the 6-game losing streak, but I think they've only lost, they're averaging a loss by 6 points. So they're in the games like all the way through. So that's the good thing, because last year they weren't competitive. Now you have competitiveness, and I think you gotta really look at Luka has changed the dynamic. Other guys, I feel like, really not intending to fall in line. And, you know, we were kind of texting back and forth where you got the DeAndre and the Wes Matthews situations. People need to understand what's really going on.
Yeah.
DeAndre Jordan, you're probably not going to be there next year. Wes Matthews probably not going to be there next year.
Mm-hmm.
So guys need to understand that this is the future right here. And fall in line, we're trying to win games. You feel me? That's what it's supposed to be about. It's not DeAndre Jordan. You when you were talking about stat pad, you're going to get your rebounds. You know what I mean? I mean, you're not an offensive player. Nobody is signing you to be an offensive player. You're not doing that. That's not your role. But at the same time, understand what you have in players at this young age that can make you better. Fall in line with it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree on that. And also interesting. So, let me ask first, do you think that to some degree that they are freezing them out? Like, is that your opinion on it? Or, because I think I'm not definitively saying that's where I think it is, but it certainly looks like there's something there. There's too much smoke to be no fire, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened before in the NBA. I mean, it's not like this hasn't happened before where rookies have got froze out from their team because there's been some jealousy and envy. It's happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, George went through it. I mean, rookies have come through it that they've been so good that people are just like, hey, I ain't really ready for this. And I think, you know what else it is to me? I think because he's a European player, I think those guys kind of maybe take more offense to the European guys coming in and being the man. You know what I mean? Because they're coming from overseas, they're playing over there, and I feel like the guys maybe in the NBA may feel like you need to earn your role because you were overseas. When this guy is good, and I think to me that may have a part of it. If this guy came out of just straight, high college and played 1 year, maybe it might be a little different. But the fact that he's coming overseas, I still think they get that rep that you still got to earn your rights, even though European ball is totally night and day from when coming up from the 90s now. I just feel like they still kind of look at him like you need to earn your keep because you're a European player.
Yeah, definitely. And, Dallas has lost a ton of close games in the last year and a half. I mean, like an absurd amount, something like, how many did they have last year within 5 points or something? It was
like 20-something, 27 or something.
And then if you extend it, counting crunch time, it goes into 38 or something like that.
I'm sure Rangers King has the stats.
Yeah, probably.
Brain.
But they've been always on the cusp, not over the top. And the way I view the whole accusation regarding freezing out Doncic, what I was talking about earlier, I look at the San Antonio game when Luka had 4 shots in the first half, and then in the third quarter, when he started to get going, he hits a 3, and then you see now I don't think you really hear him in the clip, but you can kind of read his lips. Yeah. He's kind of like he's basically like yelling essentially, kind of like under his breath, like give me the effing ball. And I think even though he scores 31 in that game, he got going and got them to overtime. They should have probably won that game because Dennis misses free throw at the very end. Yeah. But I think if you look at that from the veteran perspective, I think that might have rubbed guys like Wes and DeAndre the wrong way, that you got this 19-year-old walking in at the time 7 games like into his NBA career. He's already your best player, which is probably a blow to their own pride, and he's telling you, especially just get me the effing ball.
Both of them are on their I guess last years of the contract. So
true, but here's how I view that. Like this is to put the quick bow on what I was trying to say with that. If that's the case, you have to have some kind of meeting with the players or something like that to be like, okay, this has to end. This squabbling or whatever. If you're, prideful, whatever, trying to freeze out Luka, you got to get over that, because this is the reality. Luka is the face of the franchise moving forward. Wes Matthews, DeAndre Jordan, James, like you said, they are going to be free agents this summer. And while they would like to keep DeAndre, I don't think that they probably end up keeping Wes. Like, if you're gonna make me pick between Luka and either of your bum asses, I'm gonna take Luka. Like, put them together. I don't care. If they can't bury this thing, I would get rid of them during season. I'm not even kidding. Like, because this season, if they don't turn it around, this season's not going to end up in the playoffs anyway for them. Mm-hmm. And for them to get in the playoffs now after this rough start, they'd have to be on like a 56-win pace just to get to like 47, 48 wins, which is probably the minimum you need to get into the playoffs this year. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to make some assessment of that. And if you're going to make me pick, it's a no-brainer, man. I don't care what service you have done it, even if you're Wes Matthews. Like, see ya.
That's why I was asking, because Wes in the past, he hasn't been playing like this. He's not the type of dude. He knows he's never been, because he played with Damian Lillard and all them. He's not the type of person to be putting up 20 shots a game.
Yeah,
that's absurd. Like, you're probably the 4th dude.
When Wes is getting all the shots, you hear a lot of this. A lot of boos. I don't think James was able to hear it, but I just played a boo drop, like the crowd booing.
I'm just saying, though, West has always been that guy that shoots a lot. I mean, he's been that guy when he was at Portland. He shot the ball a lot too. I mean, he's kind of like
it was more catch and shoot. It wasn't creating off the dribble.
I think
he's never been that.
I think part of that dynamic is when he first got to Dallas. After DeAndre snubbed us the first time, same offseason, it was him and Harrison would be the next year. He had one more season still with the Warriors before he came over. So Wes, for the first 2 or 3 years he was here, he was really asked to be like one of the best players, even though it didn't fit his skill set, and we didn't have an offense that could create a whole lot.
Oh yeah,
and so it led to
we had was Harrison Barnes.
And again, Barnes was the next year that he came over. So yeah, I think for him in Dallas, for whatever reason, he got into that mode of thinking he needed to be the one initiating stuff at times, and that's why you see him going off the dribble. Now, he's shooting the floater pretty well so far this season.
Doing pretty good.
He's had stretches lately, but he's done a lot of that, and I feel like that shouldn't even be a part of your game. Like, I'm glad you're hitting it, and it's nice, but that's not your game. I want you to be defense and spot up for three, and that's just the reality of where it needs to be, and he needs to understand now that the guys are here, the talent is around, that you don't have to be that. You don't need to be that. He's second on the team in shot attempts this season. Yeah. And until like 2 games ago, he was leading the team in shot attempts.
Yep.
I don't want that noise at all. No. He should be like 4th, 5th?
4th.
Probably 4th on this team, yeah. I mean, it's I feel like it's starting to maybe level out, but I don't know.
I suspected I would probably level off as soon as Harrison Barnes got in back.
And Barnes has been back 5 games now. Yeah.
But it's still. I never thought he was the type of dude to go off dribble and stuff like literally every time he does that. Like I don't mind him posting up because he's a big dude and he can overpower the smaller guards.
Yeah.
But I mean, every time I see him trying to dribble in, I'm always just like, that's not what you do, bro. It's like give the ball up, like spot up. Let's set screens for him. Like, Luka will drive in. He will find you. Like, I mean, Luka's the type of dude. Luka's not dumb. If it was, I know you like him, but if it was Russell Westbrook doing that, I'll be getting my shots too because I know probably Russell Westbrook is not going to find me because he's a score first. Luka, I know he's putting up numbers, but Luka's not necessarily a score first. Luka is, I'm going to do the right play first. That's what Luka is. That's why I don't mind him having the ball in crunch time. He drove in. And he saw Harrison Barnes wide open in the corner, and he gave him the ball. He didn't need to score. A lot of players won't do that because a lot of players have this hero ball complex that I need to be the one to put the ball in the bucket.
Yeah.
But he saw Harrison Barnes wide open, and he gave him the ball. It's simple. He makes the right play. That's why I have absolutely no problem with him having the ball. Now with Dennis, I would like the ball to be in his hands too. I just want him to get reps in that situation. He's not as high of an IQ as Luka, but so I just want him, at least learn to, if it need to be, have the ball in your hands so you'll learn to make the right plays.
Right.
But Luka, I feel like he's already there. Like, I have absolutely no problem if Luka was on a championship contending team, I would still feel like he should have the ball in his hand,
I think so.
In his hands,
I mean, he's definitely looking like an all-star at the very least so far. So, James, what do you think Dallas needs to do to kind of right the ship a little bit coming off this 6-game skid? Now, they're not off the 6-game skid yet, trying to get off the 6-game skid.
I mean, I'm just bouncing off you guys. I mean, like Luka, just like you said, Luka is just the type of guy right now that, when if you guys can't do it, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? I feel like he's that type of guy. Like, he naturally knows who to get involved. Like, certain guys that play the game, you don't have to tell them. Like, they just know how to create. They know who, when they go to the hole, they know who to get the ball to. They know if I'm taking you off the dribble, I can pull this J on you. They know if I go to the hole, this guy's going to double team me, I can drop it off to DeAndre. I mean, the dude has been throwing hella alley-oops. You know what I'm saying? Getting people right there. You know what I mean? It's just like when they get the rebound, especially if he gets the rebound. I love when he gets the rebound, takes it coast to coast because you don't know what's going. It's like something good going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Something good going to happen. Bruce Matthews, let Luka get the ball, take it, and then go spot out to the 3-point line, man. And then when he goes to the hole, damn, 3-pointer. Because right now, you're only shooting 41% from the field. You're averaging 17 points. You're only shooting 34% from 3-point range. That's got to be better because you're trying to do too much. Let the flow of the game come to you and let the man create, just like you were saying. So I think the issue, like with Dennis Smith Jr., is he doesn't know when to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was a guy that was ball dominant. He was the ball dominant guy last year. He was controlling the tempo. Now you have Luka that has it. Now he don't know what to do because he's off ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, do I take the three? Do I go to the hole? You know what I mean? I think that's where he's trying to figure out his role now in the essence of the offense, because now you have somebody who can control the tempo like you can. But the biggest thing that Dennis Smith has to do is he's got to get that jump shot together.
Yep.
Because if he had that solid jump shot right now, Luka coming to the hole, then boom, Dennis shot, boom. Then he can go to the hole and do everything. His game is so much better, but he's got to get a consistent J.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And Dallas has got to get Luka going earlier on in the game. He's not there's really only been like one first quarter this year where he was able to immediately make an impact, and that was Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, he doesn't get a lot of shot attempts early in games, and we've had a couple games where he didn't really start doing anything until the second half because he wasn't getting the opportunities. Yeah. And that's part of the frustration for him, because Dallas has been, especially the first quarter, is the most inexcusable one, because we have been painfully slow start offense lately. And so when you're not letting your best player get shots and you're falling into a hole, it's like, what are we doing here? Are we trying to tank? Is that the mindset? What are we doing?
If they're doing it, kind of let us know, but I feel like not as bad as last year, but let us know.
I feel like they're looking at these guys like they're looking at Luka, the vets are, and their mindset is, you might be the best player here, but you have to earn these certain things. I don't care about that, man.
And if he has to earn it, he already has. To be honest with you,
I would say so as well. Yeah,
he already has.
Like if that's what we're at, fine. But let's be real about that. Oh, got a cluster there with the graphic. I'll fix that.
But you know what? You know who else? Like, we've been talking about a lot of guys, and we mentioned. I told you Harrison Barnes, man. I mean, I know, like I said, he left from Golden State, came over, got 19 and 18. But to me, it's like it's a 19 and 18 that's quiet. It's not like to me, it's not like an impactful 19 a game. It's not an impactful 18 a game. He's averaging 14 a game right now. He's shooting less than 35% from the field, shooting only 29% from three-point range. I mean, it's like we need more from Harrison Barnes. I feel like when they brought him over, it was kind of like, man, you want to get out the shadow of Golden State. Well, if you want to get out the shadow of Golden State, make plays, dog. Like, be the guy somebody can get depend on. It's just like sometimes he just feel like he just goes away and he's just like, where are you, Harrison Barnes? We need you to be one of those guys that you can consistently be. Like I said, guys can score 19, 20, 22 in a game, but is it impactful?
Yeah.
Is it impactful for the team?
And that's where I think both of them put up 19 points a game,
No, absolutely. And that is something they're going to have to figure out, because they view Barnes like the Michael Finley to Luka and Dennis's Dirk and Nash. Like literally,
ain't no damn Michael Finley.
I understand that. I'm just saying that's how they're literally marketing him. Like
I
was saying that
leadership role wise, he's like a Michael Finley.
Yeah, and I was hitting that funny twist there. I was beating that drum, which now that I think about it, that's not a much better analogy. And now I'm starting to fall into a pit of despair. Wait a minute. I got something for this.
Unbelievable.
There we go. Nice big fail banner on the screen now over my head. Let's get back to this. So that's a point I was making all through the off season, that I felt like that's how they viewed him. And then before the season even started, they literally were marketing the season with that exact comparison.
Yeah.
I posted it to the prospect page where it shows you, like, it's like history repeating itself, and it shows you Nash, Dirk, and Finley, and then it's like, then now, the Future Is Now campaign that they're doing.
Honest with you, it's kind of repeating itself still, because
they were really bad at first with that. Yeah. Well, you gotta be patient with it, man. But
you do. That should be the number one thing we all need to take away as MFFLs, is we need to be patient.
I really just said I was hitting that in the middle of a stream. that happened. Okay. I've been doing this for a year, and somehow that's the worst one I've done. Oh man.
See, you can't be saying those funny stuff, man.
I should have used this.
I mean, look, like you guys say, I mean, we can't expect these guys to, you got Luka, you got DeAndre. I mean, it's kind of like we expect you to get to the playoffs instantly, you know what I mean? But we need to understand the West is dynamic. You know what I mean? Every game in the West is treacherous.
Yeah.
Yeah. We even thought the Blazers won't be one of the teams to not make it, but they're one of the best teams now. So that's another spot. Because I think in our predictions we had the Blazers out.
Did we have them dropping from 3 to out?
Something like that.
I mean, but if you look at the Blazers, when you ball against them, you got that backcourt to deal with.
Yeah.
That backcourt can keep them in the game all game long because those guys are freaking monsters. And just like I said, we got young guys. It's not like we got veteran guys in our backcourt. You know, of course they've been putting Wes Matthews. You know, you got Luka at the small. But let's say if you had them rotating at the guard position, still first players, second-year players, still young guys that we're depending on, and you're going against brutal guys in the West every game. Houston, Golden State, San Antonio. You still got to deal with these guys. They got DeMar DeRozan, so it's a fight every game. So we got, like you said, we got to be patient. This is going to be a long haul. This ain't going to be championship next year. It's going to be a few years before they get this right. But at the end of the day, let's be competitive.
Yeah, exactly. William Phillips is right. Even Sacramento is playing good this year as well, too.
Dallas is 14th in the Western Conference out of 15 teams. Only Phoenix is worse, which now makes that loss look even worse. And I was wrong on Phoenix.
They were just on that game. That was it.
What, James?
Yeah. I just said they beat the hell out of us.
Oh, yeah. That was a close game until 5 minutes left, and then Booker just went completely unconscious and 5 straight threes, and it went from literally. If you look at what crunch time is considered, a game within 5 points with 5 minutes to play, that was a crunch time game. It's just that as soon as it hit crunch time and it became official, he was like, "I'm putting into this." Yeah, yeah. So it was ridiculous.
Let me ask y'all this: so if we're coming down at the end of the game. And who's the guy? Who's the go-to guy? Who's the guy that gets our last shot?
Yeah, with the Minnesota game, that was Dennis, but Luka played a big part in that too. I feel like it's already supplanted to be Luka. I feel like that's what it should be, but we haven't gotten.
I mean, it depends.
Look at the Laker game.
It depends on who out of Luka and Dennis is who's the hotter person right now.
The Laker game.
Who has a better matchup, which most of the time it will probably be Luka just because of his size and his IQ and stuff like that. I have no problem with having the ball in either one of them's hand, but it's definitely not Wes. I mean, it could be Harrison Barnes too. I mean, I guess, but
right.
I really don't. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't move the needle for me at all. I'm trying to be positive, but if it's at the end of the game, dude. I know Dennis is capable.
He's got that instinct.
He got the instinct.
That shot against Minnesota was beautiful, even though it was kind of an offensive foul.
Let him know, Rangers King. 2 minute. What was it? The 2 minute report or whatever. The ref saw it. They said they didn't see a lot of contact.
Okay, there you go.
Boom. Yeah, so I mean, if it's in one of those guys' hands,
Offensive
I
foul?
have no. No. Yeah, if it was in one of those guys' hands, I don't have a problem with it at all. If I see, Wes trying to do some crazy nonsense.
So as we move to kind of wrap this show up, we've been going like an hour and 10 minutes. So with the next game coming up for the Mavericks, I believe, is the Wizards on Tuesday. So the Wizards have one win as well. Or sorry, we have two. They have one win. They are a dumpster fire of their own sort.
I think Dwight just made his.
Dwight just finally debuted for them like a couple nights ago. I think it was against OKC. In fact, I think that's why I saw the headline at the time. But do you think, James, I'll ask you first. Do you think Dallas can get back on the winning track, and subsequently this would be their first road win, right? No, it's a home game. Correction, home game. Do you think they can get back on track against Washington?
I mean, definitely can, but this is also a game where you got to watch out for Washington because you see their record, but don't get fooled by it. You know what I mean? They still got that great backcourt. I mean, Dwight Howard, he's not what he was,
sure.
But you still have something to deal with. I think the main thing with Dallas, they got to play good defense, continue to play good team defense, and rotate the ball, because at the end of the day, they're scoring offensively, but they're also giving up like 113 points a game. So it's just like, you got to
has been terrible.
Down. Defense has been terrible, and you're going against John Wall. He's that type of guy, and they already have a losing streak, and they're not winning. He's the type of guy who can come in and drop 50 on you. So this is a game where they just have to play good team defense because Washington tends to crumble. They tend to get one-on-one a lot. So play good team defense, play within yourself, share the ball, and make shots. Like I said, Wes Matthews, be calm. Go to the hole, shoot the jump shots, man. Just like you said, stop trying to go to the hole and do all this crazy stuff that we don't understand what you're doing. Go out there and float to that three-point line. Hit that J. That's what you're good for. You hit it in Portland. Come over here. You hit it. Now let's keep on hitting it. Stand on the outside, man.
He almost did what I did.
The crazy thing is, Wes isn't necessarily numbers-wise. He's not playing bad, too. It's just
good. Keep his trade value up.
Yeah, I mean, he's just making these dumb decisions that you don't expect a dude 9 years in the league to make, like fouling LeBron James with 2 seconds left to go in the game.
So
you're tied.
Right. I don't try to plug a bunch of these other podcasts and stuff like that because obviously we're trying to bring people to us.
Yeah.
But I did hear a good point I thought from Locked On Mavs, that podcast, talking about Wes in particular. I know that there are issues we have with some of their stuff. I know. But one good point I thought they had regarding Wes is, for the most part, he is still doing pretty well, as you said. His numbers are looking pretty good. And although I think his defense has lost a little bit of a step, he's still certainly one of the best defenders they have. With him, the problem is you get about 10 to 15% of plays where it's just like glaringly bad, like the LeBron thing. And you're like, what are you doing? Like, you're a 9-year vet. How do you make that mistake to the point where the 19-year-old rookie is bouncing up and down? Like no way you just did that. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, what's your thoughts on that last play against the Lakers, dude? Because there's no, like, to me, there's no excuse. Like, people are trying to justify. There's no justification. Why are you guarding him full court? He can blast by. It's LeBron freaking James. It's not.
And you're guarding him full court, and I mean, LeBron James, that's what he does. He goes the hole, and he's big and strong, man. You don't think he's doing body fouls, and they're in L.A. You don't think they're going to call that for him. Like, you got to use your brain. You got to be smart, man. I don't know, dog. It's just like, that was our game. It felt special when you had Luka come in there, bam, killing them. And it's like, you have a great game, and then it goes away for that. I looked on the page, and I heard somebody say, DDP, they're like, man, y'all killing Wes. I must not like him. No, it ain't about nobody liking him. Everybody wants to like him, but it's like, be smart within the offense. Stop trying to do too much. You're trying to do too much. We understand that you're trying to get another contract, but I mean, you're probably going to get that contract because they still need players like you in the NBA. So just play within the offense, dude, and get the. We just need to win games. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of us being so close. Like, every game, it seems like they're right there in it, and then they fall apart. We got to stay true all the way from the first all the way to the fourth, full games.
Yeah, winning fixes.
What the hell felt that?
Yeah. Winning fixes everything, man. That's the thing. You're in a 6-game skid. That's why tensions are running high, and that's why you have incidents where you have Wesley Matthews getting in a heated exchange with Donnie Nelson after the game. Or I keep almost saying Friday night, outside the locker room. That's why you have. I'm not gonna say that's why you have like DeAndre stealing rebounds and whatever from teammates, but you have just higher tension because guys are frustrated. Luka's looking at that and he's like, okay, here's an easy board. Okay, that's annoying. My teammate stole it. And not only that, one of my specialties is getting out in space and creating, getting the ball. He's a point forward. That's what he does. He grabs the board. He leads the break. Good things happen. So of all people to steal a rebound from, that's the most perplexing one. And, as quick as it happens, I'm not saying DeAndre mapped out a full list of like the next 10 things are going to happen as a result of him stealing the board, but it's still a bad look. And I think that it's just, if they can get back into the win column and do it a couple times here in the next few games at least, things will level out. I think
we wouldn't be talking about
yes, exactly. So anyway, yeah, absolutely. Well, James, tell them where they can find you, and if you want to, absolutely, we'll have you on more frequently for these segments and everything.
Well, hey, first of all, I appreciate y'all letting me let me on. I've been watching, these Mavs, been interested. Last year was kind of a bad thing, so you get a little bit of excitement. So definitely, if you're willing to throw me on, I'm definitely willing to do that. But you can check us out, Silver and Blue Nation, Big Game James, Dallas Cowboys all day, all night. We're going to be on live tomorrow for the Titans game. But like I said, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, but we're really big on YouTube and Facebook. Just type in Silver and Blue, not and, but the little and mark. We'll come right up. Yeah, and check out, like I said, Big Game James. We do it all day, all night. We have a good time, have fun with it. Cowboys all day. We're here for the fans.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming on, James. I will be in touch with you, buddy.
Appreciate you, dog. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
You too.
All right.
All right. So thanks to James for coming on there. Yes. Now as we.
I'm hot in here, bro. You gotta put your AC on, dude. I'm sweating.
Yeah. Well, we'll get that sorted out.
All this heat
But
coming out, you know.
you know we're still on the show though, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just making sure that you. Yeah. Just making sure. Just making sure. I'll be like, the hell are you doing in my house? But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm trying to kind of tighten the show up a little bit, make it a little more structured and everything.
Yeah.
Didn't really hold as much as I wanted to some of these time constraints as far as like segments. But I'm working every day to make this a better experience for you guys. We are just Mavericks fans talking Mavericks.
Yep.
And we're obsessed with this team. And so we're just trying to communicate with you guys, build this community, and, you know, be as informative and hopefully a little entertaining as we can be. So any support you guys have, whether it's just liking the video, subscribing to the channel, you know, hit the bell for the notification squad.
Yep.
If you really want to show us love, there's options like Super Chat or Patreon. Patreon, you get like discounts towards the merch you see above Enyi's head again there. Stop breaking the fourth wall. The Luka Doncic merch we got coming out, Luka Legend 77 t-shirts. Those were specifically designed by me and my buddy Jacob Taylor, who does a lot of the graphics work for Dallas Prospect as well.
Nice.
And so we're building this out. Any support you guys can give us, it means the world. Like it really does. Something that was really cool, not to ramble on to another thing, but something that was really cool just in the last week or so.
Okay.
I've had just a handful of people reach out and want to buy the Dallas Prospect shirts.
Nice.
And they are available. We're not wearing them right now. They are available, of course, the Dallas Prospect shirts that, you know, you've seen us wearing. And it's like a humbling experience, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not just that. I remember starting this and just trying to give them away.
Mm-hmm.
And people would be like, that's all right. I'm like, it's free!
Like,
Take
no,
it!
Get away from me!
So it's incredibly humbling when now people are saying, you know, hey, DDP, I love what you do. You know, I'd like to buy a shirt. Like, that means the world to me, to just feel like we're building something here. So if you guys want to support us, like I said, you can do any of those means. Like us on Facebook, Twitter. I've been spamming all this stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, follow us on Twitter and everything. I'll throw those handles up there one more time for you guys as well.
You got individual one, too. Yeah.
There you go.
Boom.
So there are the places to follow us on Twitter if you want. We are going to continue doing Mavs Fastbreak every Sunday. I will try to sprinkle in one, maybe even two additional live streams during the week to give you just a quick rundown, whether it's a specific game or a preview. I'm even going to make an attempt to give you an actual commentary game sometime in the next week as well if I can. So I'm going to set up all that stuff for you. But until then, just let's keep growing this thing. Just remember, guys, I'm going to give you one more shot at this, Enyi. Tagline.
Oh, crap. Hold on.
Okay. Take a moment. Wait a minute. Let me find the "you blew it" button. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. I'm ready.
All right. You started off.
Oh, and remember,
every legend was once a prospect.
Salute.
I did it!
And fade.